Between the years of 2011 and 2013, there were 15 mass shootings across our country. According to the website Public Intelligence, of those 15 mass shootings, 12 of the adults involved dealt with mental health issues. The National Alliance on Mental Illness reports that 1 in 4 adults will deal with mental health issues in a given year. That's equal to 60 million Americans. 26% of adults in homeless shelters also have mental health issues. And of the total number of Americans who deal with mental health issues, 60% of us will not seek treatment. There are stigma attached to mental health issues. Part of that is our lack of education. Part of that is our stereotypes that we've built up. And part of it is our own ignorance in not seeking to educate ourselves about what these issues really are. There are stigmas attached, but there are also ways we can change. And when we change, we'll make a difference in how we interact and how our world treats people who need treatment. The effects of stereotype on people with mental health issues are reluctance. Someone may be hesitant to seek treatment if they feel like they're being bullied or harassed. If they feel less about themselves, they will not seek the type of treatment they would seek if they were in a supportive and loving environment. Our stereotypes can isolate people, can make them feel lonely, can make them feel like there's no hope. And in extreme cases, our harassment and our stereotypes can lead to situations where someone chooses to end their own life. Our stigma and our stereotypes act as barriers. Instead of creating a connection with people where we can be helpful, where we can provide resources, we put a wall up with our negative language, with our inappropriate use of comments, and with what we think we know about mental health. And that makes a wall that makes it difficult to connect with people who face this very real issue. But there are ways we can change. There are ways we can change in how we express our words and how we give our support. Andrew Solomon, in his TED Talk from October 2013, talked about the issue of depression and the struggle he went through when he faced this issue. And he found that after he came to be honest with himself and to talk about depression as a mental health issue, that people were willing to speak to him and to tell him their struggle, and that he found open and honest dialogue. But it was only because Andrew chose to be honest and give his vulnerability to others that he was able to connect. And that is one way that we can be supportive in being real with our own struggles, but also letting others know that we are available as a help and an encouragement and a support system. Also, the words we use will make a difference in changing. At the homeless shelter that I volunteer at on a weekly basis, I noticed a couple weeks ago that a fellow volunteer was using a word to describe a homeless gentleman who was sitting outside, and very flippantly and very casually she said to him, "You're crazy." Now, I don't believe that she meant it to be derogatory. I don't believe that she meant it in the literal sense. She also had no idea that this gentleman obviously struggles with mental health issues, and the term crazy was very stereotypical and very poor use of language for her. So there are stigmas attached, and there are changes we can make, and what difference will that make in our world when we enact those changes? Support can mean the difference between a full, healthy life for someone who deals with mental illness and a lonely, isolated life where they feel like no one loves them. There is someone in my own family, a close family member, who deals with mental health issues, but they are unaware that they need help. And it is very difficult to set up the boundary and to say, this is where I'll help you, but this is where I need to not be so involved because of my own health. But the key I'm learning is that it's about being supportive and encouraging, not building a wall, not isolating this person, not using language that would be offensive, but instead being helpful and always ready to be supportive and give resources as long as that person is willing to accept the help. Our country needs education about what mental health is and what it looks like and resources that are available. And when our country as a whole will come together and address these issues, maybe we'll start to see some change in the suicide rates. We'll start to see some change in how people with mental health issues are treated, how they, there's many times a lack of jobs, there's many times a lack of opportunity for education because there is such a feeling of loneliness and isolation. So we have to understand that change starts with us individually. It starts with educating ourselves and understanding what mental health issues really are. It starts with avoiding negative language and building up stereotypes. And Viktor Frankl was quoted as saying, when the situation cannot be changed, then the change has to start with me. And I think that's so true, that we can't always change the situation. We can't always change the people around us. We can't always find the treatment that will completely eliminate all mental health issues, but we can change ourselves. And we can change how we speak to people. We can change our approach to mental illness. And rather than stereotyping and generalizing and putting everybody in one category, we can begin to make a change with just our own attitude.